Let's see if this works. Live stream. We're live. Let's get the podcast version here. Oop. Okay, and the podcast version is up and running as well. Welcome to everyone on the podcast and on the video form. On podcast, we could be found on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get your podcasts, and on the video form here, youtube.com on From the Bleachers Sports Show YouTube page, covering everything about wrestling here on this podcast. And on this channel, we cover all sports, home for all sports. And I do welcome your subscription. If you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, it would mean a lot to me. Also have a secondary channel spelled G-R-E-S, Grez, where I go to famous places, talk about pop culture, graves, crime scenes, all that stuff. So if you're into that, check that channel out. Hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot, and I absolutely suck. Jeez, man. I'm looking on the feed here for the podcast feed, as far as audio and video for that matter. Haven't done one since April 9th, and that is a horrible thing, my friends. That is horrible. We're back. We're fully, I keep on saying that, and, sometimes, work is really busy, which is a good thing. Everyday things just kind of take over. Trying to run 2-3 channels. It just catches up to you. We're going to make an honest effort to talk about wrestling, an hour every week, along with the other videos that I put out in regards to wrestling during the week. Those videos have been a little bit backed up, if you notice, but we will make a concerted an effort to do that each and every week. So, enough babbling, and let's kind of talk about really just kind of where we left off. And some of this is old news, so I won't try to bore you with it for too long. I'll try to run through it as fast as I can, give my brief thoughts on it. The first thing that comes to mind, what should we call it? Trashbag gate, or garbage bag gate, or garbage gate. The story about Mickie James, who just one of my favorites, and has been with the company, was with the company a very long time. Was injured, and with Mickie James, it's like they consider her a alumni before she was an actually alumni. It really never kind of gave her just due of recently. Now, when I say just due, keep in mind, she is not saying that she cannot go, but she is close to my age, or maybe even older. I'm 40. I think she's even maybe older than 40. And you know, she's had numerous titles. She has been given the belt, numerous titles. So it's not like she's been ignored um, in all her time here in WWE. And I'm not saying that she cannot go. I'm sure that she could still go. Um, but it looks like WWE with her, they were focusing on the younger talent. Okay, so be that as it may, she got injured, and really, she came back once or twice, and it was very awkward. What was happening in that ring, and it just, I don't know. Since Mickie James came back, it did not really work out. Who's to blame? Maybe I would probably tell you both people are to blame. That's just me. No one party is at 100% fault. I don't ever think when it comes to wrestling. Be that as it may, she was let go, and I made a separate video about this, and I'll try to play it here during our short little break about what I thought about some of the let goes. Try to find it and try to play it here. But as far as all her stuff being brought back in a garbage bag, and a couple, in a lot of, not a lot, but a couple of employees' heads went rolling, and public apologies across the board. I don't see what the big deal was with her stuff being returned in a garbage bag. Now, listen, I know what it what it what a garbage bag symbolizes, as if as if she was trash, her time there was trash. That's kind of the symbolization that you get with a garbage bag. But I don't think that's what WWE meant to come across. From what, if I'm not mistaken, it was a garbage bag, but it wasn't delivered, via FedEx through a garbage bag. It was a box, and inside there was like a brown box, because she took a picture of it, and within that brown box was the garbage bag with all her stuff that she had left over in, the Thunderdome, or whatever you want to call it. So the WWE, hear me out. So the WWE, this place is a wrestling arena where people go to wrestle, right? They're located in Florida. I believe she's in Virginia. So they saved her a trip in coming down there to pick up her stuff. Saved her on flight money, right? And it's not like the WWE is a Staples. They're not a grocery store where they have garbage, where they have, or a department store or Walmart where they have wrapping paper, or Macy's where they carry luggage. They're a wrestling arena. They don't have luggage, or they don't have wrapping paper, or they don't have I mean, what did you expect this stuff to come back in? What what I think happened was, someone gave the order. Put Mickey, put Mickey James's stuff. Take it down for her. And someone said, well, I don't know what put it in one. We don't have anything here. Put it in a garbage bag. Put it, and then we'll put it in a box. I don't think any disrespect was meant. I just don't think they had anything laying around that would suffice something being mailed in other than a garbage bag. Now, could they have gone to the store and maybe pick something up and to put Mickey James's stuff in? Yeah, perhaps they could have done that, but I they're not a Staples. They're not a department store where they carry luggage or they carry fancy smancy wrap. But like, what did you expect them to do? Like, this is not beyond the realm of, absurdity. I don't know why the big much to do about nothing. And I don't know if Mickey James was being 100% upset about it, or was she was just kind of poking fun at the matter. But it's like, what else do you expect them to put it in? Now, granted, okay, maybe they should have thought it out better. Like, hey, this is not going to look bad. This is not going to look good, even though our intentions are good. Maybe let's I don't know, put it in some type of maybe we can mail in some type of a storage bin. I don't know that we have laying around. I don't know. The point is with Garbage Gate and the ring gear being brought back, I just think it was a little bit much to do about nothing. I think maybe they should have thought about it better, because it's not a good look, even though they know what their intentions were. But still, at the end of the day, to be making that big of a deal about it, I just don't. Nah, that's a little bit too much for me, quite honestly, being made about it. We're hearing news, moving on. Something I wanted to touch base on, something more recent. That Vega, former valet, the real life wife of Aleister Black, was in the Performance Center and is apparently on the verge of signing a new contract. Remember, I think the story goes correctly. She was let go, or she was asked to be let go because she really didn't want to let go of her Twitch account. That Twitch account was making her money. She loved the Twitch. I believe she was using her name, which was the problem. Had she, I believe, been using her actual name and not her stage name, I don't think there would have been that much of a problem. I believe that's what it was. She refused to do that, and she was given a warning, and let go, or she decided to leave. And there was talk, and I don't know how much truth this is, that she had a non-compete But in that contract, it said that once the non-compete was over, she couldn't wrestle for like a company like AEW apparently, which I don't know if I believe that. I think that would make no sense. I don't see why she would sign that type of a contract if in fact it was true. Speaking about the original contract. I remember she was like on the forefront of trying to inquiring or trying to form a wrestlers union, and that's when one of the guys that's running for mayor over here kind of stepped in. If you remember, I believe his name was Mr. Chan. But nothing came of it as far as the union, and it never has, and I don't think it never will. But here we are. There was talk apparently about she's in the training center, and there's talk about her wrestling more, being highlighted in the women's division. This is all just speculation as far as the plans for her, and I'm sure that's something that after a while, as with everything, cooler heads tend to prevail, and I think both sides kind of come together and they realize that they need each other to a degree. And with Zelina Vega, she could wrestle, she could go. Her husband is here in the WWE. And Aleister Black. Aleister Black has been out of off TV for quite some time. But, with Vega, she probably talked to herself, listen, my husband is here. My contract that I'm signing here, at the end of the day, how much of a career can I have on Twitch? Wrestling is my joy. Wrestling is my pride. She's actually local here in the New York area, kind of from the five boroughs of where I'm from. And then I remember seeing her documentary. I don't know if it was a documentary. They were following her around, and she's a lifelong wrestling fan. If I'm not mistaken either, it's not like WWE saying that you cannot be on social media, you can't do anything at all. Some of these wrestlers have their own YouTube channel. Now, they don't use their stage name. They use a different name, or they use their real name. And believe me, if you are a fan of these wrestlers, you're going to find where they are. You're going to find out that they have a channel on YouTube, Twitch. So, at the end of the day, I think it's just cooler heads prevailing. And listen, if she wants to still be on social media, have her Twitch show. I know she had a YouTube channel. There you go. Just maybe it could be as simple as not just use your own name, and if they follow you on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you make your presence on, or if they're super fans of you, they're gonna find you wherever you are. Believe me. So I think at the end of the day, if in fact it's true, she kind of weighed her options and what she has more longevity, more of a future, and kind of what obviously pays the bills. And I think that's wrestling more so than having a Twitch show and being on that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, believe me, because that is my goal in life, to be a YouTuber or Twitch person and just make my killing on that, where I never have to participate in an actual job whatsoever. So as we're approaching the 20-minute mark here, we're going to take a little pause, and I've been babbling for 20 straight minutes. Gonna rewind, regroup here, and I will give you a video about what I thought about the WWE firings at that point, just to kind of bring everything up to speed here. And once that is done, I want to, when I come back, I want to also kind of go in deeper about Daniel Bryan, the big news about Daniel Bryan now. Evamarie, kind of, want to tie in Evamarie too when I come back. Yeah, definitely a lot to get into here, guys. A lot to get into, a lot to talk about. Here it is, WWE releases Samoa Joe, Peyton Royce, Billy Kay, Callisto. We'll talk about it right here. From the Bleacher Sports Show. Back soon. Your buddy, your pal, your amigo, your compadre, Tom, and I thank you for taking the time to look at this video. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. It would do me a big favor to show me that you care. So, there have been a few releases on the last Thursday. It's customary, usually happens recently, where talent is let go. It's happened on various, that week after WrestleMania, kind of when, quote unquote, the wrestling season begins anew. In the 2020 year, you remember, I think there were like close to 30 talent releases, and a lot of people were up and upset because it was during the pandemic where a lot of people got released. A lot of people got released and furloughed with the WWE. Some of them have come back, obviously, but a lot did lose their jobs. And, when you're a company that's traded on the stock market and you lose a majority of your income in house shows and house shows rather, and people stop buying merchandise and attendance at weekly shows and pay-per-views, it all plays a part, right? You gotta answer the shareholders in your publicly traded company. But this year is there were some releases, not as many as last year. Still, a couple of them are rather surprising. Just want to give you some of my thoughts on those releases and where I could see them possibly going. Right off the bat, Samoa Joe was released. Samoa Joe recently, if you watched WrestleMania, you've seen Samoa Joe on commentary. Released right after WrestleMania. It was weird because at first they said that Samoa Joe will not, that Samoa Joe is being replaced. And made the announcement of who's replacing him, but they said that Samoa Joe would still continue to be on the active roster as a wrestler. Surprised he was released. And you kind of think of a lot of missed opportunity, missed angles, Joe, where, like, for example, he could have feuded against Roman Reigns or kind of sided with Roman Reigns, be on that faction with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman, kind of be the enforcers for Roman Reigns. You could have faced against him. Could have been a good feud. There were many possibilities, but I think here what's happened, it's a little bit perplexing if you think about it. I think once eventually it will come out and shoot interviews or whatever down the road, that I think maybe WWE kind of wanted to move Samoa Joe in a different light. Maybe they did not see him as a wrestler. Maybe they told him that he would not be cleared. And that could have led Samoa Joe to ask to be released. Or be taken off commentary. That's not what he wants to do. Or, there could have been some type of dispute as far as what his future is. He's had a lot of injuries, to be fair, recently. And as we've seen with certain wrestlers, look at Edge took him, or Christian took them 7 years, 9 years. Daniel Bryan, a couple of years to come back before they were actually medically cleared. 7, 8, 9 years for Edge and Christian. Daniel Bryan, 3 or 4 years? And I don't think that WWE was going to clear Samoa Joe anytime soon. I think there's a little bit more to it than what we're reading, than what we know. Peyton Royce and Billy Kay. All right, so we're back. There, just kind of to give you a snippet, and there's more on the channel from the Bleacher Sports Show. I think I promised you guys we do talk about a whole lot about wrestling in sports in general too. But I made a talked about Daniel Bryan in the 5-minute part of that clip that you just heard for 5 minutes for Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan again has been making news. We'll talk about Daniel Bryan here very briefly too. Right now, he, based on all indications, he's a free agent. He's no contract. He with WWE apparently, not that they left off on bad terms, they weren't able to come to terms, and right now he's considered a free agent. So technically, that means that Daniel Bryan could, show up in AEW, or he could show up in Ring of Honor, or he could show up in New Japan, or MLW, or NWA. How about Daniel Bryan showing up in NWA? How about that? Huh? At this point in the game, I think there are two things that you have to look at least what I speculate, if you're a Daniel Bryan, or if you're a Daniel Bryan fan, rather. I think he wants to work in a place where, relatively speaking, um, he's making a good amount of. He's making some money. Now I'm sure he's made boatload of money, saved it up, nestled it up like a squirrel. But I think one last hurrah before he retires and goes off to the sunset. And I think he wants these matches to be meaningful, and I think he wants these matches to be seen. I don't think. Now I know he's a student of the game. He's a fan of the game. But he wants to go where his matches could be seen. He wants to wrestle, I think, in front of large audiences. Combination of everything. I would love to see him in NWA. I really would. Just my gut. I don't see him going to. I don't see him going to NWA. I don't see him going to New Japan. I don't see him going to AEW. My gut tells me that Daniel Bryan is now a WWE guy, and we remember where we've seen you remember when we first seen Daniel Bryan, what we've seen, very vanilla plain, and he worked on he worked on his entertainment skills, and he became a beloved Daniel Bryan with the Yes movement. And I, as corny or as cheesy as this may sound, I think that's something that he values. I think he's comfortable now, and I think he wants to work at a part-time basis, and I think he looks at, let's just say, for example, if he were to go somewhere, let's say AEW. AEW right now, they have so many wrestlers, not enough programs to put them on. Do you think Daniel Bryan will want to wrestle on wrestle and then only be seen on a YouTube page? And how often would you? I just with Daniel Bryan, I see him coming back. Right now, taking some time off. I think, because remember, he has 2 young kids now, right? I believe his wife gave birth to a second child, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think he's just at home, and I think he will eventually re-sign with the WWE when the time is right. And I think it will actually be for the NXT brand. I think he sees that what the NXT brand has, and I think he's comfortable with knowing that that's more of a, more of a wrestling show. And he's still in front of the audience that's familiar with him. He could have his, 1 hour Broadways with with your O'Reillys, with your Fish, with your I don't know carrying crosses, Finn Balor's. I just think that Daniel Bryan's kind of foaming at the mouth with all the possibilities that he has to wrestle with in NXT. And that's where I see him going. I just see him going nowhere else but sticking with NXT, WWE NXT brand. So expect that from Daniel Bryan. At least that's my prediction. I do expect to see Daniel Bryan back very soon in a WWE ring. Speaking of which, I also mentioned Samoa Joe, gone, Dunsky, Dundada, and Pat McAfee now is in the new SmackDown announcer. They kind of move things around. Corey Graves moved to Raw. They hired another announcer for Raw. Byron Saxton still there. Tom Phillips got reassigned. So Pat McAfee winds up being the SmackDown commentator. As you hear, Samoa Joe released. Listen, I love Pat McAfee. I watched the Pat McAfee show. It's on Sirius, but I watch it on on the YouTube channel. And this dude is full of energy. If you watch his sports talk channel, that's the same thing that comes across on SmackDown. You see that chair. Half the time he's not even sitting in the chair. He's standing up and just explaining something and just talking off the top of his head. And it comes across that he's a genuine fan. He's excited as to what he's seeing. And I like it. I'm a big believer in standing up, too. And it goes back to the olden days of when I was younger. When you stood up, we were always told to stand up when I was learning training to be a stockbroker. Well, at this point, that was 20 years ago. Stand up. It makes you, like this. It makes you alive. Your thoughts are flowing, and you're animated, and you're ready. You're thinking on the top of your head, and full of energy, and it just projects itself and it shows itself. So that dude is constantly standing, as he is constantly standing for the most part on his radio show, the Pat McAfee show. So I like it. He doesn't sound like he's scripted. I'm sure he's fed lines here and there. But for now, anyway, it seems like Pat McAfee would be a decent pick. So far, so good. Thumbs up on Pat McAfee being on SmackDown. Leads me into Evamarie. Look at that. We're 40 minutes into it, and we're flowing quickly here. Catching up on a lot of lost time on Cleanpin. Evamarie. Okay. So this big rumor or this big thing that was going around is people were like, oh, you've gotten rid of um you've gotten rid of Peyton Royce and Billy Kay for Evamarie. No, no, guys. If you've been following Instagram and you're following the dirt sheets, no, that's not the case at all. Um, no, not the case um, at all. Evamarie was rumored. There were pictures of her um, in the performance center a while before Peyton Royce and Billy Kay were let go. Evamarie was always in the works to come back. So it's not like the WWE fired Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. No, no, no. Let go. Um, but so yeah, like I was saying, Evamarie, listen, she was coming. She was rumors to be coming. You've seen she's been posting pictures on her Instagram with the new dude that supposedly it's supposed to be the next big thing, and I think it was Parker Bardell, I believe was the name. Anyway, she's been rumored. If you follow wrestling, you follow the dirt sheets, you know that she's been rumored to come way before. Um, you should have known that she was coming. So it's so that's not the replacement for Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, and that's not why those two are released. Um, Scarlett Bordeaux, listen, is she gonna? And there, there's talk that she's improved her wrestling. That she was actually at one point uh, training with wrestlers. Let's leave it that way. I forget the name skips my memory. It's like right here, but I forget the name. Kendrick. Yes, Kendrick was the name. Um, D. Bryan Kendrick. She's been training. He's been training with him. So listen, she has a look in Evamarie. Okay, those vignettes, by the way, spectacular for Evamarie. So she has a look. She brings attention to herself. Um, and part of the entertainment of things is watching everything unfold. So Evamarie already having the haters, and the haters don't even know why it's happening. You got to give it a chance. I like the Evelina or Evolution character. The WWE just cannot drop the ball on this, but that is a that was a good you know support position. 1 second here, guys. talking about Bryan Pillman, um, in the Bryan Pillman documentary, um, man, I've been a Bryan Pillman fan since the very beginning. Since I was a little kid, I remember watching, when the Hollywood Blondes would come out. Back then, I was watching it Saturdays at 6:05, TBS Super Show, where it would be like 2 hours of wrestling, mostly like the big names going up against the enhancement talent, things along that nature. Saturday 6:05, and wrestling on that show. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think maybe am mistaken. But Bryan Pillman would be wrestling on that show on Saturday night. And that's where we would see the debut of the Hollywood Blondes and the rolling of the film. A great tag team that was split up way too soon, way before the time needed to be to split them up. And the Hollywood Blondes, and as I was watching that documentary, Pillman, he played it to a T. He played it very damn well, where you had no idea if he was being honest with you or if he was trying to take you for a sucker. Hold on one second, folks. And yeah, Bryan Pillman, one of my favorite wrestling characters growing up back then. Um, Him and Steve Austin too, and I like Steve Austin when he was, Stunning Steve from back in the day. Again, I remember that team was so popular. Um, and then that force just kind of, it was over quickly, their tag team. But that's how I remember Bryan Pillman from the Hollywood Blondes. Really don't remember him too much on this as a single competitor. Um, just even in my fantasy team, the Hollywood Blondes. So I was a big fan of the Hollywood Blondes. And then, when that team was split up, how Bryan Pillman just kind of reinvented himself, kind of almost, I guess, for lack of a better word, almost kind of like a spin-off to a degree of Andy Kaufman, a spin-off, if you know what I mean, like because yeah, where it's Pillman was just a character that people questioned each other, like, hey, is Bryan telling the truth, or is he lying, or is he working us? Well, what? No, and the beauty of Bryan Pillman is it seems that no one really knew um, if he was playing a character or if that's who he is. Um, I remember in that documentary too that they had on Bryan Pillman, they showed a segment where um, he kind of goes to Bobby Heenan and pulls his shirt or kind of pokes his shirt. And Bobby Heenan was legit um, angry, pissed. But no one knew if that was Bryan Pillman playing a character or, Bryan Pillman just causing trouble. So no one really knew. The beauty the beauty. And, you just, with Bryan Pillman, he was developing this character and eventually made his way to the WWE. You know, um, he signs it, but right before he signed it, rather, he gets into an accident. And that kind of just changed everything. Would change the way he would wrestle, his offense in the ring. Um, but no one ever knew, Bryan Pillman or not. That accident, changed him, broke his ankle, couldn't wrestle the way he was wrestling prior. And unfortunately, got apparently they're saying that he got hooked on things that he should not have been hooked on. But man, during that time, Bryan Pillman was just absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. And just what could have been, what could have been for Bryan Pillman. Innovative in a lot of ways. Kind of, and I'm sure he's gonna influence many down the road. Flying Bryan Pillman. It's also great that his son um, has taken up wrestling. You could see him on AEW certain times, and still in these. Actually, he's part of a team called Varsity Blondes, which I thought was clever and unique. But again, it's it's all, I guess, subjective. But yeah, Absolutely. See, anything else that we could talk about here before we bid you adieu as the audio version is about to wrap up? Um, Looks like I'm not going to have time to do the predictions because I want to do that in audio as um, and last but not least, really, I'm looking over here. Our news seems to be one thing I wanted to get into um, as I bid you adieu. Roman Reigns on another level. Bringing in the Usos could bring back Jimmy now could add in a lot of layers to the story, and the story is going to be developing one of the better stories. We're going to wrap this up, guys. Um, it's been fun. It's been real. Um, don't forget to hit the subscribe button here on this channel. Find the podcast in audio version wherever you get your podcasts. Bleacher. I hope all is well, guys. I will bid you adieu. Trying to look at my last minute notes here. We are fine, guys. I look forward to bringing you some news back next week. Look for my prediction video separately. Here, you guys subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I hope all is well, guys, and I bid you adieu. Mahalo. Ciao. I bid you adieu once again, guys, as we're having stall problems here on the stream. But hope all is well. Adios. Dobranoc. Mahalo. Here we go. Adios. Ciao.